It's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And here we are, baby. We are back. Welcome to another episode of Cigars Unbanded, AG edition. We got our buddy Alex Glez with us tonight to talk all things AG. All the boys are here tonight. We are all smoking cigars from Alex Glez. Let's go around real quick and just touch on what everyone's smoking. I see a lot of 109, boys. Is that what a majority of the guys are smoking tonight?
Yep. Sir.
I'm going with the Gauto tonight, changing it up.
All right. Alex, what do you got?
I'm smoking also the 109. I have the 109 and I bring also one Robaina for the second round.
Oh, okay. There's no need to show off, okay? There's no need to show off. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Thanks for hanging out with us while we figured out the audio issues. We are good now. Obviously, if you guys have questions in the chat, throw them up. Alex wants to answer anything that you have to ask him. And I guess where we should start, Alex, is how did you get into cigars? Like, how did it all start for you in the beginning?
That is a really long history. When I finished the bachelor, I was working the Marina Hemingway, and they have a LCDH there. One of the cigar roller in that cigar shop, the name is Kalunga. She's one of the best rollers I never met in my life. And all the time, I go there and I see her, how with some simple leaf, she creates cigars and how passionate are the people look at her doing that job. After many months of going there and see her doing all that job, she looked in my face and she said to me, Alex, if you continue to look at me, I think I will lose my job. I said, why? He said, no, because it looked like you are really interested in the cigar industry. I said, no, the only cigar I smoked in my life was one puff I did from my grandfather. And I really, in my house, I see my grandfather smoking every day, every hour. He smoked for all his life. And one day she said to me, if you are interested, you have to left all your career and you have to go to the Laguito factory for make class. But I will let you know it's a really difficult things. Normally are like 30 students and maybe like 3-4 finish. I said, okay, I will take a risk. I go to the Laguito factory, I start to do everything, and in the end, I graduate as a cigar roller.
Wow. Well, how was that a stressful process, or did it just come natural to you?
It's really stressful process because it's one of the most worrying job you can have. Because imagine be 8-hour rolling cigar every single day and all time of the years. For
Right.
8 hours, you have to roll every day like 100, 120, 130, depending the vitola you are rolling. Normally, when you are learning how to be a cigar roller, they only ask you to make 10 cigar a day, 15 cigar a day. But when you don't know, those 10 cigars take you hours, make 10 cigars. With practice, normally they make a cut. After 2-3 weeks, they already know who are the people maybe have a little bit of potential because the teacher, they are looking what you are doing. And they make a cut and they send out like a few people and they continue with the rest of the students. In the end, after 6 months, if you don't make those 130 cigars, you can be graduated.
Interesting. So how does that work? Do they just have you work on one specific size for the first, few months of you learning how to roll, or do they try to gradually, teach
Normally,
you?
they try to teach you with the more simple vitola or size they can roll. It's the Mareva size. It's a 42 ring gauge and 130 millimeters. Because remember, when you have 30 people learning how to make cigar, you know how many raw material you destroy in that process?
Sure.
That is difficult. And the raw material is really expensive. That is why they try to teach you with a really small ring gauge, small size. And when you graduated, it's the same. It's not like when you graduated, they will put you to roll like a Vehicle 56 or any of those sizes. You continue with in Cuba, we have three categories, 7, 8, and 9. It's the three category the cigar roller have in Cuba. And the cigar roller in Cuba, only one person, only one cigar roller made everything, made the bunch, made the wrapper, made everything from the beginning until the end. In the New World cigars, they work by couple. One is making always the bunch, and other is putting always the wrapper. But when we learn, they teach you to make everything.
Gotcha. So how long were you? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Why do they split it up into two different people with New World cigars as opposed to what Cuba does? Any particular reason?
Honestly,
Resources?
I don't have an idea why they do that, because for us in Cuba, when you are rolling cigars, after you finish your production, everything go to quality control. And quality control every day that is why the cigar roller in the factory in Cuba, they have a number. For example, my number was 515. And every day in the morning, quality control next day let you know, hey, you have 5 cigar butts or 10 cigar butts, and you have to do it again. When they work by couple, it's different. And it's something most of the people, they prefer to put wrapper because they feel so complicated, make the bunch, or the opposite. Some people prefer make the bunch and never make the wrapper. And they believe that way they work faster.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. So how long did that go on for you in that stage before you graduated to like the next thing? Because the hotel came after that, correct? Once you spent some time
100%.
there.
In the cigar factory, sometimes the people believe, they say, oh, this roller is the best because he's the 9 category. Who give you the category as a roller is the cigar. For example, imagine this month, the factory need me to make Vejique 56. I'm a 9 category. But if tomorrow they ask me to make Siglo 2, like a Mareva size, like 42 by 130 millimeter, I go to the 7 category. That is why who give you the category to the roller is the cigar you are rolling.
Gotcha.
And also in Cuba, it's totally different. When you have to make one size, you have to make the size for at least minimum 1 month. You have to make always the same size for 1 month. In New World, sometime when you have to make today Robusto, tomorrow maybe if you need to, you have to make a Toro, but it's different because in your hand, when you take the leaf in your hands, it's like your hand work like a scale. Sometimes you know the grams, the bunch
Just by
need when
feel.
you are making you feel it in your hands. And that is why if you are making Toro size and tomorrow you have to make Lancero, for example, in the factory, they always give you 24 hours. You don't have to make 130 cigar. You have to make only 30 or 40. That way, you don't make the cigar or too pluck or too loose. That way, you don't lose a lot of raw material. And in that process, going to the big ring gauge to the thinner ring gauge.
So they
That's
give you
really
a little
interesting.
bit of time. Yeah, they give you time to get adjusted again to another size before you would then spend another month rolling that new size once they give you something.
Always minimum is 1 month. If they put you to roll Lancero, you have to be at least 1 month making Lanceros. It's not like every other day they change you the size, you know.
What's your favorite size to roll?
My favorite size, the Lancero size.
Really?
And I really love that passion for the Lancero because the lady who made me go to the cigar business, that lady in the LCDH in La Marina Hemingway, she was one of the cigar rollers from Fidel Castro, and she have to make those Lancero perfect. Imagine, normally in the factory, you have to roll 100 Lancero a day. When she was making cigar for Fidel Castro, she only have to make 50. But those 50 have to be perfect. And sometimes the old people trick you, teach you how to make something different. That way the cigar in the Lancero is not plucked. Because, for example, for me, the Lancero is one of my favorite size to roll and to smoke because it's really elegant cigars and you feel a lot of flavor in that ring gauge. But at the same time, many people, they scare when you have to choose a Lancero because many people, they have a terrible experience. When the Lancero is a good draw, it's a wonderful cigar. But when it's a little bit plucked or tight, it's the worst experience as a smoker you can have in your life because that plug
The
cigar
hassle.
is better don't smoke.
Yeah. There's no real way to correct a lancero if it's plugged, right? Because if you try a draw tool, usually the ring gauge is so thin, you're probably going to end up damaging the wrapper, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, sometimes here you try the perfect draw, but in the end, when you have that experience, that bad experience from the beginning, it's a bad experience from the beginning until the end.
I made the mistake of trying a perfect draw on a Trinidad Reyes that had a bad draw. That was a mistake. I had to do it. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to enjoy any of it. But I mean, it just completely, punched through the wrapper and exploded on me. So.
All right, glancing over some comments, guys. If you have any questions for AG, throw them in the chat. If we glance over it, throw it in there again. We're just trying to keep up with everything. But I see we have a question here. What AG cigar would everyone recommend for someone who has never smoked one before?
Do you smoke bolder stuff or do you smoke milder stuff?
Normally, if I have to recommend someone never smoke a New World cigars or smoke something, don't be that aggressive as a beginner, most of my line, the Un Nuevo Reino, for example, is really mild to medium and smooth. That is a cigar you can retrohale, you can smoke, you can enjoy it. The most interesting when I did that blend, when you are a blender, it's difficult. Why? Because you are trying, most of the blender were making a blend for other people. The blender do what they believe the other people can like it. But it's not the reality, because maybe what you are trying to blend is not like the people they want to smoke. You are trying to smoke something the people is creating for another smoker. But when I make my blends, I try to make it as smooth as possible because I retrohale every single puff. If I don't retrohale the cigar, I feel like I'm not smoking.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the panel? Anyone, would you recommend an AG cigar that you like?
I like them all. But if you're somebody who smokes like bold Nicaraguans, you're probably going to want to go, not that this is super bold, but the Gauto is definitely the most aligned with that sort of stuff. If you smoke more of a wide variety of intensities of cigars, any one of them will be great. But that's definitely his boldest profile.
Yeah,
Prince
109, dude.
Yeah.
109's bomb.
Yeah.
The 109 is really good, but it's a little bit more strong, like a regular Un Nuevo Reino.
Yeah.
Un Nuevo Reino is more milder than the 109, because for a 109, I use a little bit more strength to try to make it without to have the same raw material as close as possible as the Robaina cigar, because it's something that people was asking me a lot in US about that cigars, and I try to bring something as close as possible.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll touch
But
on
it's
this.
such a flavorful cigar, though. Even for being mild, like
A-
Un Nuevo Reino,
AG,
my favorite.
AG, how many times estimate, how many times do you think people have asked you, when can they get the Robina, your Robina? How many times? 1,000? 1,500? 2,000?
A lot. Honestly, everybody want to have those cigars here, and if God wants, I believe in 2026, every will be here available for everybody to give him a chance and smoke that cigars.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hit. It's gonna be a huge hit when it hits the American market.
Oh, what was that last one that was up there for a second?
Kind of the same idea.
Okay. So I guess people want to know, Alex, how do you get Nicaraguan tobacco to be so sweet? It's unlike the other Nica stuff that we're used to. There is a smoothness, a roundness to your profile when you're blending. I imagine that comes from your background in Cuba, where it's the profile is completely different. But I don't think anyone has ever tasted cigars that come out of Nicaragua to be in the similar profile that you're blending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I made the blend, I explained many times to the friends. When I used to blend Cuban cigars, it's totally different. because the Cuban cigar is a puro, is everything from Cuba, the filler, the binder, the wrapper. And when you are making that blend, it's easy. You can try to make milder, medium, strong, but with the same tobacco. When you start to make something new, for me, be in the New World cigars is 100% something different. Was something I have to learn all the profile, all the characteristic in the New World business. And for me, I'm learning every day. I don't know almost nothing about the New World cigars. That is why the people who know me, I asking all the time, I say in blends, because, for example, the New World cigar I consider is more complex than the Cubans in many ways, because when you are making the New World cigars, for example, the people they blend Nicaraguan cigar with Dominican, with Cameroon, with Peru, with Honduras, with Costa Rica, and every country have a different terroir, have a different soil, different characteristic. Also in the same country, you can use tobacco from Jalapa, from Ometepe, from Condega and Esteli, it's from the same country but have different characteristic. Something made me feel different when I blend in the cigar, because I'm trying to choose the raw material depending the texture of the leaf, the thickness, the color, and the most important is the smell. I choose the tobacco because of the smell and how the tobacco look. I don't choose the tobacco because of the region or the country. You know, I explained before, I retrohale every cigars, and I want to feel like when you retrohale, it's not burning your nose, and I want to feel a delicate, soft taste, and that have a reason. It's because one of the reason is because the 50-60% of the taste buds is in your mouth, and the rest is in your nose. Your nose is more sensitive because how they don't have contact directly with food, with drinks, and it's like maybe feel more clear what I want to create. And doesn't matter if the test buds are like 40-50% in your nose. I feel they are more accurate, you know. One, because they are not damaged, and it's why sometimes you smoke a cigar, you taste really good. What you retrohale is really spicy and strong, you know. Not always when you smoke a strong cigar have to be smooth. I feel when you feel your nose is burning that strong, is because the raw material have too much impurities like ammoniac, like poor fermentation, and that is why I trust that much in my nose. And maybe some of you have the same experience. You can feel the cigar really strong, but when you retrohale, you feel really smooth. You don't feel that aggressive in your nose.
Sure.
And that is something different for me in the Nicaraguan. If my nose don't give me what I want to do when I'm blending cigar, I don't bring that cigar in the market. Because our factory in Nicaragua is located in Esteli, but 70-80% of the manufacture and the production we make in our factory is white label. We produce for other companies, for other brands. And in the last year, I decided to push in AG brands. And for my AG brands, I was talking with my partner and I said, I want to make something different. I don't want the people consider or better or worse compared with other brands, if not different.
Sure.
And that was the idea I tried to bring to the market. I know it's difficult to make happy all the customers because it's totally different. Everybody have different point of view or different comfort zone smoking super strong cigar or milder cigars. The only my customer and my friends, they have to know 100% sure they are smoking a cigar I blends depending what I feel I like in my products. I don't want to making same like this brand or the other brand. I want to make something I feel I enjoy it. Because now with the new prices of Habanos, 80% of the people I know is in the cigar industry. And most of the people I know is in the Cuban industry. And the smoker who used to smoke all those Cubans, most of them they can afford with the new prices. That is why, without to use Cuban tobacco, I try to make something as close as possible without Cuban tobacco.
Sure. And I think that's a good way to bring up this question because Xavier wants to know what's the difference? What's like the noticeable difference between the tobaccos from Cuba and let's say, you know, what you're working with now in Nicaragua? How different is that raw material that you're talking about to work with?
The raw material is 100% different. In Cuba, we use exactly the same seeds Nicaragua is using or Dominican Republic is using. Most of the industry, they try to use the same seeds. They use a Criollo, Corojo, Habano. They use all the same seed, but the difference in the soil is and the humidity and the temperature is many different things. I will put you a sample. Coffee. Coffee is so similar to cigars. Maybe you can drink coffee with Arabic bean, but the coffee from Mexico, when you're drinking, you feel salty. And maybe you're drinking from Kenya or you're drinking from Colombia, it's smooth. It's different. That is the difference between regions. And everything happened also in the wine, not only in the cigar industry.
Sure.
And that is why, for example, I will put you an example, the Cuban cigars, they only use one tobacco, 100% Cuban. And the New World, when they made that mix, that is the magic of the blender. They have to create from different countries something be smooth, tasty, and elegant, well balanced. I think the cigar always have to be well balanced and not overpowering, because that gives him the best. How you say that? The best
like overall experience.
The best experience to the smoker.
Right. Sure.
You know? Because when you are a beginning, if your first cigars, you choose the wrong cigars, that is the worst experience you can have in your life. And maybe you never will smoke another cigar in your life.
It's true. And I think that's what, you know, that's a question we get asked all the time. My friend's just about to start smoking cigars. Can you recommend a cigar? Because, you know, if you just walk into a humidor and you don't know what you're doing, there's a good chance you might select something that's not going to be a great first experience. There's just so much out there to choose from. So it's nice to have some of that guidance.
Yeah. And also, for example, I know many people, they start to compare the Cubans with the New World cigars. Every cigar must have to be a perfect draw or perfect burn, but sometimes it doesn't. It's common because it's a human involved. It's impossible the cigar have a perfect cigars, because remember, cigars is 100% handmade, and almost in that process, like 150, 200 hands touch the tobacco before be a finished product. That is
Right.
unbelievable. That is, imagine 150 people touching the cigars before the smoker bring to your mouth and smoke, because it's the planting, it's the curing, it's the fermentation, the aging, the stripping, the blending, rolling, wrapping, aging. In that process, many people is involved in the cigar industry. That is why it's so complicated, this business. Sometimes I talk with many friends. It's difficult when you're smoking a cigar. You can say it's terrible cigar, it's decent cigar, or it's excellent cigar. It's true. Us as a consumer, we can have that point of view. But as a manufacturer, I guarantee you, not only by myself in the industry in general, most of the people who are in the cigar industry and they are owner of the factory or brands, they try to bring the best experience to the clientele or to the customer. That is 100% sure. But you have to choose. You have to learn. the customer or the market you want to be focused. For example, in my brands, I never am focused for the people who smoke really, really strong cigars. If the people who really love a strong cigar and smoke AG, for example, they will believe it's really boring cigar, so mild, I don't feel taste. And they confuse the flavor with the strength. Sometimes the people, when they don't feel that strength, that pepper, they feel that is a boring cigar. No, it's not boring. It's different cigar.
Yeah, that's true. Syndrome's asking here, if someone could watch you roll cigars for a day, what would surprise them the most about what goes into a truly premium cigar? Like, what is the difficulty in a cigar that, you know, when you're rolling, you think people would be shocked how hard it is to actually do or to execute?
When you are rolling cigars, for example, tomorrow any of you can have a seat. If someone teach you how to make one cigar, you can make one cigar. One cigar is easy. The difficult is when you have to roll 100, 120, 150 cigar in 8 hours with good quality. That is the challenge as a cigar roller. The quality is the key, you know? And that is, from my point of view, in the New World cigars, the quality is better than the Cubans. The only good thing Cuba have better than the New World cigar is the raw material, the soil, the quality of the leaf. But in many points, the New World, they take care more of the draw. For example, how many times maybe you smoke Cubans, they are plucked. You spend $40, $50 and the cigar is plucked. Most of the time in the New World, that is less common like in the Cubans. Why? Because they use more the draw machine, they take care more of the quality of the cigar they are doing, because also they are private companies. Normally, when you work in companies who are from the government, like Cuba, for example, the rollers, they don't care. What they want to make is something for living and go back home with a little bit money.
Right.
But in the New World cigars, how they know it's a private company, they have more rigorous quality control, supervisor, people who check. That is why it's more beautiful. It's different. But the process is so similar.
So as far as, you know, as long as we're talking about plug cigars and stuff, I've noticed and I've heard that pretty frequently when your cigar is plugged, it's almost always like right by where the band is on the cigar. And I've heard it's something about how you hold the tobacco when you're bunching it. Why is that?
That happened also. I have different explanation for that, because when you are rolling cigar, you have two way. The Cuban way, they use two binders, and the roller is preparing the bunch. And when you are preparing the bunch and twisting with the binder, sometimes when you have to work so fast, as a human, you make this and you twist a little bit the bunch. That make the cigar be plugged. But in the New World cigar, it's totally different. In the New World cigars, they use a machine. They prepare the bunch. They use one leaf as a base, and inside the leaf, they put all the filler, all the different blend you want to make, and they put in the machine. That happens when they cut and they put too much relleno. They put too much tobacco more in one area than in the other one. And that small part of the cigar, when you cut, if you put too much, the cigar will be plucked, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense. And Kyle's asking here, when, you know, a Cuban cigar, do they use different seeds inside of a single blend, or are they multiple different, you know, from multiple different plants and seeds to make up a blend?
Also, they use different leaf, different seed. They use criollo or they use corojo. Few years ago, they was using some hybrid, but in the end, they decided don't use it. But Cuba, as New World cigars, they try to innovate every year in something different. That way, giving to the customer different products But it's totally different when you are blending Cubans and when you are blending New World cigars. I will put you a sample like a wine. US, they only use one grape, the Cabernet Sauvignon. When you go to the Bordeaux, they use like 3 different grapes. That is why they mixed. When they make the rice mixed with sugar, with acidity, with everything, when the blend is the right one, you will have an excellent product. The same with the cigar. Doesn't matter if you mix different region or you have only one region, the key is the blend. Because maybe you smoke some cigar, they're 100% puros. Like I make a cigar 100% Nicaraguan cigars. Like other manufacturers, they make also 100% Dominican Republic cigar, or they make mixed from different countries. But the key is the blender know what they want to do, what they want to create, what is the goal as a blender they want to cover making a blend, sweetness, or a little bit more pepper or salty, or it's up to the blender what they consider. That is why when the blender make a blend, that don't mean that will be the final product. That have a process. When you are making a blend, you don't make only one cigar and you choose and you say, this is the, I consider Ometepe is sweet, this one is harsh, the other is more salty. Like cooking, it's not like cooking and use the ingredients. It's like, it's a process. That is why you make 4, 5, 6, 10 different blends, and you and the panel of the people you consider have a good taste as a smoker and as a connoisseur, they choose.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Come on.
Man, that's a buffer face.
Yeah, screenshot that.
All right, we'll get him back here sorted.
A lot of good questions in
man.
the chat, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
job, guys.
A lot of good
Great
questions
job.
in the chat. Nice.
Did
I
you
guess
say
we could-
machines roll the bunch of the cigars?
Yeah,
leave
I think he's
him
talking
in
about
press.
like the kind where you go.
Yeah, I think it's a
Lieberman press.
manual.
Okay.
It's a manual
like,
type
oh,
thing.
shit.
Let me see if I can pop him out and
If only the chat hit the like button as much as they ask good questions tonight. Johnny OCD will sleep
Right.
like a baby.
For real, man.
we good, Alex?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, good.
Does Ometepe, in your opinion, have particularly sweet tobacco? What's your overarching opinion on Ometepe, that region?
I like the Ometepe. Ometepe is a really good tobacco, but if I have to choose in the regions, I like more Jalapa than Ometepe in my blends, because
Yeah.
I feel when you are blending, I feel I can work more with Jalapa than Ometepe. Ometepe also depend. They are different farmer. They are different region in Ometepe, because maybe 10 feet different can make different quality of Ometepe. That don't mean all the Ometepe you are using every single cigar have the same characteristic. Maybe you can have a really good Ometepe, or you can have a terrible Ometepe.
I've had terrible Ometepe for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on Ben's comment here, because you said you're relearning like everything because you're so familiar with just Cuban tobacco, and now you're blending in different areas. Are there certain regions or seeds that you're trying to work with that you haven't really got a chance to do with yet, but it's on your list of things to make maybe for future projects?
Now I'm really interested because I really like raw material from Peru. I think I'm trying to work with the Ligero from Peru. I consider Peru is a wonderful raw material, but really hard to find, because like the big legend brands, most of them like Arturo Fuente is one of the biggest consumer, and they try to take as much as they can. For a small factory, it's difficult to get that tobacco, but I think it's something I have in my list. One of the tobacco I wanna blend for the future cigars and for a future line can be the tobacco from Peru. And if you wanna go to the tobacco, you never go wrong. For example, if if you smoke criollo, I consider criollo cigars is tobacco. You never go wrong. That tobacco have a sweetness naturally, and is for me is one of my favorites when I'm blending. The criollo is one of my favorites, and that is most of my blends from criollo, corojo is what I'm using.
Alex, question for you. So I know Cubans tend to like smaller vitolas, smaller shapes, and now that you're going into like the U.S. market and all that, have you find it challenging to kind of adjust to find a size that, you know, the general population tends to go for bigger sizes, especially in America?
I think it's almost the same, Felipe. When you are blending smaller or thicker ring gauge, is of course when you have to roll a bigger ring gauge is more difficult because you have to use more tobacco, creating the bigger ring gauge like 60, 62. Most of the consumer who smoke those really big cigar are from US, and it's challenge because for me it's something new. I make the master size the 60 by 7, and I did that size for US market. But if you ask me, is one size, I don't like it. I don't like to smoke those big ring gauge. I like between 46, 38, 50, maximum 54 ring gauge is the ring gauge I like when I'm smoking. But you know, this is a business. You try not only to blend for you and not only to make the sizes you like. You try to make happy everybody. It's difficult, but you try to cover all those customers who smoke smaller or who smoke big. You have to try to make happy everybody. But it's true, it's a challenge. It's a challenge when you have to produce and prepare those blend, because blend those cigars and create the right balance, taste good, easy, good smell, easy to smoke. That is a really challenge. And the most difficult is create that balance when you are mixing Nicaraguan tobacco.
So when you take, you know, like I have the like Corona Gorda or whatever, the smaller size of the Gauto here, and then I also have my humidor, that big boy you were just talking about. When you're switching over to such a bigger ring gauge, is it the internal blend? Is it just a ratios thing? Do you keep the ratios the same, or since it's a different wrapper to filler ratio, do the ratios of the internal leaves have to adjust slightly? Like it's not the same percentages as the smaller one to balance the wrapper leaf, if that makes sense.
For example, in my cigars, the Un Nuevo Reino and the Gauto, both line is exactly the same filler and the same binder. But when it's a bigger ring gauge, I have to put a little bit extra of the same tobacco because it's bigger ring gauge. But only making different ring gauge can change the profile of the cigars. Sometimes you can make a cigar like the Gauto, the 46 ring gauge, and you make the 60. I use exactly the same proportion of tobacco in size, depending the ring gauge. But the flavor, you try to make it as close as possible. But in the end, the experience when you are smoking is totally different. It's impossible. You try to make 100% the same blend with the 60 ring gauge with the lancero. It's so difficult.
Sean wants to know how the new facility is coming along, because you moved not too long ago, correct? You got your own factory now?
No, we continue now in the process. We are moving because we are working in the licensing. You know, Nicaragua is a lot of bureaucracy, like Cuba, like all those communist countries. It's a lot of bureaucracy, and it's so difficult. And for us, it's a big jump because before our factory was only like 1,500 square meter, but now we are moving to another facility. That factory is insane. It's like 43,000 square feet. and it's a project. It's scared because for me, when you see the new facility we are creating, I feel like, wow, I'm doing the right move or not. You know, we are human. The human,
Sure.
tomorrow you want to change your job, doesn't matter if it's for better, you're scared. Because when we are in our comfort zone, we feel comfortable what we are doing, and you scared do something and you don't know what will happen, will be for good, will be for bad. And I take this challenge and I think will be good. I think it's a new project in my life because the production is growing organic, but it's growing really well. Plus, I wanna incorporate in our factory also cigarettes. I know many people they hate cigarettes, but business is business. I wanna use the factory half for premium cigars and the other half for cigarettes. And will be the first factory in Nicaragua who produce cigarette. Doesn't exist. The cigarette factory. Most of the cigarette in Nicaragua they import from Asia. For example, they have Marlboro, but they smoke a really cheap tobacco cigarette in Nicaragua. The name is Mother, and that is another project we have in our company. Not only make premium cigar, make also cigarettes. Let's see what happens. We hope for the end of this month everything be running, but you know we have to wait for many paperwork like a free song,
Yeah.
and it's a long process.
It's never as easy as you think it's going to be. That's for sure.
Yeah. And many requirements to be a free song. You need to have at least 50-60 employee minimum. Our factory, we will be around 80 something. And also, it's a new system now in Nicaragua. They create the new laws to have the free zone, like the new investor law for foreign aids. And it's a huge process, just new for everybody, for all the manufacturers who have investor from another country. It's a new process. Everybody now have to register the factory as zero.
Is there any interest in maybe farms, later down the line, maybe having AG, run farms, or are you just, sourcing the tobaccos kind of what you're used to?
No, honestly, for the moment, that need a big capital, a big budget to have a farm. For the moment, our idea is continue buying the tobacco from the same place everybody's buying. In the cigar industry, in Esteli, too small. Most of all the manufacturers, they use tobacco from Tanixa, from Aganorsa. I have a lot of tobacco from AG Fernandez. And it's a person I always will be too thankful to him, because also as a Cuban, not only because he's a Cuban, it's also because he's a person who gives me his help. And in the life, I believe the gratitude is so important. And when the people help you, and it's for a new company, when you see people like AJ Fernandez and another big company try to support you, that is something for me unbelievable. That is something I appreciate so much. And for the moment, I think I don't will be nothing involved with farm, but what we're trying to do it is create pilones. Pilones buying tobacco from different region, age a little bit, and is trying to use that kind of tobacco depending of the blends you want to create, and create the consistency you want in the cigar. Because the key in the cigar industry, the blend is really important, but consistency is the key in everything in the cigar industry. Because let's say you smoke this 109 and today have a blend, you have to keep the same consistency always, because for you as a consumer, if you smoke the cigar today and it's good and tomorrow is not good, you lost customer. And that is something everybody in the industry is the key they want to keep, the consistency and the quality.
Yeah.
So do you source a lot or all of your tobacco through AJ?
No.
No.
We use tobacco from Ayet, we use tobacco from Anorsa, from Tanixa, and from some farmers.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to touch on Jose's real quick. We'll get back to that one. Do you age your tobaccos any differently than other brands in Nicaragua? Or is it
Honestly,
similar?
Jose, I don't have enough time to age the tobacco, because if I say to you, oh, my raw material have 15 years age, 10 years age, I'm saying to you bullshit. I'm lying to you. As a boutique company, as a new factory, any factory who is new like me, maybe, I don't know, but in my case, I would love to have enough money not only to choose the aged tobacco. I would love to work. I will not only the aged tobacco, I will love if have enough money to produce my cigar and keep it in the aging room for at least minimum 6-8 months before to bring it to the market. But unfortunately, I can't. To have that experience and to have that kind of quality, I need to have minimum like 450, 600,000 cigars in stock to keep rolling every 6 months the quantity of the cigar I want to bring in the market. It's so difficult for the new companies use aged tobacco. What we really do, our tobacco we choose is average 1 year and a half, 2 years, and normally you try to choose the tobacco for grade class C, class B, or class 8. We try to choose the best tobacco we can buy, but unfortunately, aged tobacco is impossible for me because too expensive, and not only too expensive, so difficult to find. Many times I hear many people, many manufacturers, and many companies as a marketing, they say using tobacco from 20 years age, 15 years age, and when you smoke, you don't feel that age, and that age is something don't like. When you're smoking an aged tobacco, you feel it in your taste right away, But it's honestly.
I have a question, and I'm dead serious. So, I just thought you bought aged expensive tobacco or something. So you're buying basically minimally aged average tobacco. How are you making such a good cigar?
Honestly, Johnny, I feel is the difference we are doing as a company is not the tobacco we are using, because the tobacco we are using is exactly the same tobacco. It's the blending process. I will put you a sample. Many of you, for sure, participated in PCA Cigar, Premium Cigar Association. When you go to Premium Cigar Association, you will see like division, like a boutique brand for one area and well-known brands in another area. In the end, I was talking with many of those big legend brands, and I guarantee you, in this business, all this manufacturer and all this company, we buy almost the same tobacco, everybody. Oh, of course, maybe some manufacturer, they have way more money, way more inventory of tobacco, and they can have the privilege to age the tobacco to make a specific limited edition. Like, for example, Padron. When you smoke a Padron, the people say, what the hell Padron have is unique. Why you can create the same blend like Padron? I will put you Padron because Padron have like a signature, have something characteristic in his cigars. It's unique. You know what is that? Because they use aged tobacco. That is why his cigars is expensive. Maybe you can find 30, 40, 50 bucks because they are charging you all the time. They have to keep that raw material aging. That is a process, costs a lot of money. If you want to have that kind of product, you need to age the tobacco. And it's like my grandfather used to say, with Chet, you don't make candies. If you want to have a good product, you need to have a good raw material. Most of the people in the industry, we use the same tobacco. Doesn't matter if they are boutique or no boutique brands. Everybody go to Aganorsa, everybody go to Tanixa, everybody buy from Oliva, everybody more or less help each other as a manufacturer with the best tobacco we can find. Of course, you will have many other boutique brands, they can afford to pay $25, $30 per pound of wrapper. They have to buy something B12 or something cheap. That is also another difference when you are smoking cigars. You try to choose the best raw material you can and try to make the best blend you can produce with the tobacco you have in your hands. And that is what we do. In our company,
Obviously.
we try to make what we love, and we try to make what we consider is the quality of the product we want to bring to the market. Because also, I will put you a simple sample. Many brands and many people, and I respect that point of view, no? But many different new brands or old brands, they are neither manufactured. They prepare his own brand and they go to the market with the brands. And many of the people they sell his products, they mention, oh, I prepared the blends, I made the blends. You don't make any blends. You choose another blenders who made different blend for you, and you choose from those different blends a master blender create for you which one you consider you want to make for your brand. That is totally different.
Yeah. So he's saying he makes better cigars because he's a better blender, Johnny. I think that's what
I
he's
got
saying.
that. Yeah. No, I got it.
It's evident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our buddy
But Johnny, honestly, I don't consider I make better blends. I consider I make what I like.
Well, you
For
make
sure,
better blends.
Many
So-
people in the panel, they can consider they love what I'm doing. Some people maybe they consider Alex, maybe it's a good product, but it's not what I like. And it's also, I agree, it's impossible everybody love what you are doing, because if everybody, that is why I love feel the feedback from the people, because I never feel bad when the people give me the bad opinion. Because if always you receive a bad opinion, a good opinion, is because something is bad. It's impossible everybody love what you are doing. That, for example, the other day I was talking with which is your name, with John.
Yeah.
And we was talking about one cigar, one blend I'm making now for Asia market. It's a cigar we are doing now, and before to bring him to the market, I bring him few people. I sent him, I said, can you let me know what do you think? And I want an honest review. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. But I try to make something that people feel comfortable what they're smoking.
Yeah, and when you asked me that, first of all, I was honored. So thank you, Alex. But I'm a huge fan of yours. You know that. Everyone knows that. You know, and so I'm always honest though. But I still, with someone like you that I'm really rooting for all the time, it was still a struggle for me to even give any level of feedback on anything. But I always appreciated you want that, you know, and I think that that's a sign of someone who's doing things right, because you have to know, you know, for people you can trust at least, you know, what the verdict is on some of these things. So, yeah, I've always appreciated that about you.
And it shows in the Discord too, because, you know, a lot of nights you are smoking in the virtual lounge with us. And you're not only just smoking your stuff, you're smoking stuff that, you know, some of the guys have sent you. You're trying new stuff, and you're always asking for feedback, whether it be on your cigars or just regular cigars that you're smoking. You know, I always hear you talking to, you know, either Leo or Sal or somebody, and like, what'd you think of this cigar? And, you know, you're not one of those guys who's like, oh, I only have time to smoke my stuff. Like, you are trying everything in the market.
And here I have to say thanks to Leo, because Leo is one of the person is teaching me a lot about the new world, because he sent me a lot of cigars to compare and to try different manufacturer. Honestly, I don't know. He sent me super premium cigars, but he sent me cigars. Maybe it's not a legend brand, but it's brand they consider is something I have to smoke to learn. It's like When you are drinking wine, if you don't teach your tongue, if you don't teach your taste, your palate, you don't know what you are smoking. If you always smoke or drink crap cigar or crap wine, you don't will feel the taste you want to taste. It's the same. You can ask Michael. If you start to learn whiskey, you can start with Blue Label because it's not true. It's a fantasy. You have to learn from the bad whiskey to the good whiskey.
Absolutely.
So you're still like relatively new to like New World cigars?
I'm 100% new. I guarantee you, all of you in the panel know more about New World cigars 20 times more than me. Because
I guarantee you I don't.
20 years smoking cigars. You know the difference between one company, other company. You know the new release of the company, and you talk with that passion because you know one of the. I'm so happy to know about this show on Banded Cigar because, guy, you don't understand what you are doing for the community, for the smoker. How much value is this? Because tasting the cigar without to know what you're smoking give you a lot of knowledge. Because when you're smoking cigar like a plain tasting, you don't care if you're smoking Davidoff or Boutique or any other brand. You are tasting the quality of the tobacco. That is why many times some people they consider it's a C tier, and Johnny considers it's a S tier. You know.
Yeah.
But
Many times. Just kidding, Johnny.
Yeah, it is the fun of the show. I mean, last week we smoked a Davidoff, you know, and a lot of people didn't think it was a Davidoff. Some people did, but you know, without the band on it, you know, you lose that whole prestige, you know, back history catalog of what they've produced, and you are just tasting the raw materials. You're with that cigar, trying to figure out, like, you know, is this worth, you know, smoking? Is it worth the price when you figure it out? Like, it's a different experience when you remove everything else and just focus on the tasting.
exactly. And this show, what bringing to the audience is the reality and the honest review. Because not only the panel is smoking that cigar, it's another 200 people smoking the same cigar at the same time with you. Maybe you can feel it's good, but you have 200 people trying to evaluate the cigar they are smoking at the same times. Maybe two can be wrong, but if you have the cigar and in the end, when you choose if it's C tier, A tier, or S tier, if you have 75% of the people who are smoking with us and they consider the same, you can consider at the same time as a manufacturer that you are doing a good job, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel the same. I almost look every video you do here in Cigars Unbanded, and one of the video was with Michael Herzog, and when he was talking, the experience he feel when everybody was smoking his cigars, and it's true. That is the same experience I feel when I was looking the people smoking the Gauto, because I was nervous. Wow, maybe the people will hate the blend, or maybe the people will love the blend. But at the same time, you feel comfortable looking the real review of the product you're doing.
Sure. And that was my favorite. When you got the pack and you wrote me a message, you're like, oh, we're smoking my cigar in 3 weeks. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't tell you. And you just responded, you're like, brother, I know what my cigars look like. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, man. But Sosa wants to touch back on this cigarettes in the factory that when you launch it. Is there a difference between the tobaccos that are used in cigars and cigarettes? Is it a fermentation process, or what is it?
It's 100% difference. The tobacco you use for cigarettes is totally different than cigars. For example, it's for the cigarette they use like a rack tobacco. When you touch the tobacco from cigarette after they cut and everything, you grab with your hands and look like noodles. It's like it's totally different. And when you are making the blend, you can make the Occidental blend like Philip Morris, like Marlboro, or Oriental blend like Asian market, like the cigarette normally they smoke in Asia. It's 100% different process. But one of my idea, I want to continue making the cigarette for those Oriental or Occidental blends, but my partner will be Chinese partners. And I want to bring to Nicaragua almost similar process like we do in Cuba. In Cuba, we use a lot. We mix that tobacco with the short filler with cigars. That normally in the cigar industry, they never do that. They use a specific tobacco for Occidental or Oriental blend. More of them is a Virginia tobacco. But in Cuba, they use a lot of the short filler of the tobacco. That is why I want to make something similar with Nicaraguan short filler blending with the Virginia and try to bring that to the Nicaraguan markets.
Yeah, that was my next question. I was curious if you like used any like remnants or scraps of the stuff that you know, cut off and don't use in the cigars. Would that be transferred over to the cigarettes?
Honestly, I don't have the right answer, Johnny. I consider maybe because, for example, when you see Asian market, when you see a cigarette and you look the raw material in the cigarette look like gold. It's like blonde tobacco. Many countries, they consider when the tobacco is black, like a cigar, is black tobacco, is a poor quality and bad tobacco. But in the end, it's different. It's not like you want to say because it's black, it's bad. It's different blend when you are making. And it's something new. And I'm trying to bring that to the Nicaraguan culture. I don't know if it will be good or not, but I will try. Because you know how many tons and tons of short filler every factory have? A lot. They have to sell that tobacco to make machine cigarillos or to make a Cuban sandwich or to make 100% short filler cigars because they don't do nothing with that. That is why I think it's a good idea to bring into the cigarette industry the same like we do in Cuba.
I was curious about this too, Alex. What goes into the decision of choosing between Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Honduras to build out a factory? You know, what like why Nicaragua versus the others? And if you don't want to say or can't say, I understand that too.
No. For me, it's the same. The problem, I never thought I will be in the New World industry because this new adventure, this new period of my life is thanks to one of my partner, Roy Kwon. He's Korean and he go to Cuba. He asked me many times, hey, Alex, I want to make a New World cigars. You want to be part of this? And I say to him, okay, I'm not too interested, but let me try. I decide to go to Nicaragua, and honestly, I feel in love when I see how much passion and how much take care how much those company like AG Fernandez, for example, because it was the first place I visited when I went to Nicaragua. How well they treat the tobacco in the farm. Everything is with technology. The first time I go to his factory, I feel like an Indian, like an Aborigine. Was funny. I go to the wrapping department and I was talking with the guy. I said, brother, I feel something strange. How is possible you be stripping the wrapper without to put water? Because in Cuba, we have to put a lot of water. We have to remove that water. We don't have that technology. And sometimes that is why when you have a Cuban cigar in your hand, you see the wrapper so ugly with some point, with no the quality. It's because, for example, in Nicaragua, they use like an automatic cloud. It's like an artificial cloud they make inside the factory. That way you don't have too much humidity, the wrapper. And was something unique, was something maybe feel like that is something I want to do it. And number one, because in Cuba, I can lie to the people. In Cuba, I feel really good. I have thanks to God, because my opportunity to be working the LCDH, I have the opportunity to make cigar for many people. And in Cuba, I feel like maybe like Rocky or A. Fernandez, they feel when they go to all those conventions in the PCA. That was the same experience I have when I participated in anything in Cuba. Everybody know who you are. Everybody want to enjoy with you. And you already create a name after 20 years working in the cigar industry, and you create a reputation. For me, that was the biggest issue or the biggest concern I have. Left all that reputation I have in the cigar world, in the Cuban industry, for something is already, every year 200 different brands, a new boutique brands is the legend names. They are the legend name for a long time. And I decided to make this because, unfortunately, in Cuba, because it's a communist regime, you can do what you want to do. You don't. The worst and the most sad experience you have as a Cuban, and is the people don't have a hope. You don't have a hope in those countries because doesn't matter how good you work, you always feel like a thief.
Yeah.
Because you have to try to find raw material under the table to make some extra cigar for you to live in. And that way is not the way as a human you want to feel. You want to feel if tomorrow I have enough skill or enough money to make my small factory, doesn't matter if are 5 people or 6 people. I want to do it in my country.
Yeah.
I want to do it my way. I want to be with my family, with my friends. But unfortunately, in Cuba, we say something. When something is too good, it's because something is bad. And that is the way. The people are scared all the time. No medicine, no food, no life, no hope. That is something the people who live in US, they don't appreciate the freedom and the opportunity this country giving to the people. That opportunity many people don't have, and those dreams in your country, like my country, I feel if I have a big dream, I have to move to another place.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, you're starting all over again with your reputation. And I think that's like how we became to know each other, because I think you were on the live stream a few times, and I didn't know who you were because I'm not very familiar with Cuban tobacco. Like, it's just not something attainable. So I never like seeked it, went to the lengths that some guys go to acquire some of that stuff and learn about it. And I remember, the first few interactions, you were like, hey, I'll send you some of my cigars. And I'm like, who's this guy? Like, I don't know who this guy is. And then Michael, mentioned it. Was like, oh, that's someone that you should probably, listen to. And then our buddy Steven, Epicurean Smokes, was like, I think you're going to want to look into Mr. Alex Glez a little bit. And then we got more familiar, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know you over the past few months.
Real quick, I wanted to show this, but this Gauto, man, finger burner here. It is the same as it was when it started out. It's just so good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think that Carpy and I probably had our reviews up within a week of each other, right? And those were like the first ones from the panel up, and then Hound Dog was right there too. So it's been a great process.
I remember all of you guys started talking about Alex Glez, and at first I wasn't paying attention. I would just see it in our chat, and then I realized Alex had DM'd me like weeks ago, and I didn't see it because he was trying to send me some cigars to try. But I remember asking you guys, like, what do you guys keep talking about? What is AG and stuff? And then just, I mean, y'all know me. I just was like, man, I was just so impressed with each blend I tried. But yeah, at first I was like, what is going on? I keep hearing about this AG thing.
Yeah, Michael had known about him, and then Alex sent me some cigars, and I was like, nah, seriously, guys, try this shit. Like, it's very good.
Yeah. I just didn't know. I just wasn't paying attention. And then I was like, I keep hearing AG over and over again. So I was like, I was finally like, I guess I got to ask what this is. And I'm glad I did. Glad I checked my messages too.
It was the Robina. AG, you sent me that Robina, and I was like, as soon as I smoked it, I was like, what is this? Like, where can I buy more of these?
City.
I remember I messaged you. I was like, how do I get more of these? And you're like, you can't. I was like, oh, come on, man.
Truly Cuban.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is something is getting a lot of attention in Asia. That is why I want to bring it here to U.S. markets. Thanks a God, the company we are working, the name is Cubana. They already signed the rights to use that name because Alejandro Robaina, that name is like the grandfather of the Cuban cigar in Cuba. And only to have the opportunity to use that name, I feel like deserve to have a good product. And after we create the right blends in that tobacco, we decide to push. They want to make everything for Asia markets. We already are selling in mainland China, like 8 different duty free in Hong Kong and Taiwan. Soon we will be in Laos. And if God wants, in 2026, we will be selling those cigars here in U.S. markets.
I hope so, brother. I hope
They
so.
will sell out, and they will sell out.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
make sure of it.
Then people other than Leo got to get the cigar too.
Right.
Yeah.
Andrew's asking, have you thought about working with any Costa Rican tobaccos?
Honestly, I did. I work with Costa Rican tobacco, but the blend I prepare don't was bad, but don't was the blend. I like it. I think one time I sent him one to Johnny. I said, Johnny, try this blend. Was a cigar without label. I said, it's something new I did, but I don't feel comfortable. And maybe it's the tobacco I was choosing, but why not? I know Costa Rica have a spectacular tobacco, and it's something I consider. Normally, I'm open to make different blends from different countries, but again, it's something have to be something I like.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Don't send anything to Johnny. If you want, something to get done, send it to anyone else but Johnny, because I'm sure he smoked it and was like, "Oh, this is really good," and that was it.
It was more detail. I mean, I don't want to go into detail because I don't know what I can say. You're talking about the celebrity cigar, right?
No, that is different. That is another blend.
Okay.
The celebrity cigar is something new. We are working now. The name will be Legendary Moment. That cigar is something we did in the last 2 years for Ray Lewis. But we did those cigars really small production, only like 250 boxes, because was something Ray Lewis he wanna make for Super Bowl for his friends, and he, in the end, he called me back because most of his friends also he bring that cigar to the. It's a famous shop in Resort World 88 Lounge, and they was sold out that cigars in less than a week, and they were selling the cigar crazy expensive. It was selling like I think was like $50-$60 per stick. And he saw in that cigars maybe a potential business for him, and we was talking a lot about make a legendary moment cigar. He don't want to choose his name, he want to choose legendary moment, because our idea as a product now is bring every year's a limited production, but every year we want to choose 2 different guests that make the product really limited and also like a collectible product. This year, finally, we decide the first guest will be Jimmy Fox and Ray Lewis. Why Ray Lewis? Because he want to make something he feel proud. I know he was making cigar with Rocky Patel, but he want to do something he really love what he's selling, or he's really love of the blend he's smoking.
Nice way to put it, AG. Nice way to put it.
You don't want them to suck.
And that is why, because he considered many people will want to buy those cigars with his name only to compare what he did before.
Right.
Now we are working all design, because our idea is produce $2,500 for Jimmy Fox and $2,500 for Ray Lewis. but I want to make also only 250 porcelain jar to make something more exclusive. Because you know, all those celebrities, they have many people around with a lot of money, and sometimes they don't smoke cigars, but they want luxury, and maybe they don't care if are only 250 yards. They want to get it, and that is the idea. Make something different every years, and the celebrity can be from NFL, NBA, can be actor, movie director, anyone who have a legendary career will be part of the project if they want to do it.
Johnny OCD.
How is working with like Ray Lewis and Jamie Foxx? Like, are you actively sending them stuff? Are they very involved? Or are they trusting you to kind of build the cigar for them?
With Jimmy Foxx, I never meet him. I never sent him one cigar. That is something new. Ray Lewis was trying to find the right people for the first batch, and he considered that is the right people, the right person he want to bring as the first guest. For Ray Lewis, I know him for almost 7 years. I met him for the first time in Cuba. That was a really funny history with him. And in the end, it was crazy. One guy is a really good friend. He owned tequila brand. The name is Legend. And he called me. He said, "Hey, Alex, I have a friends who want to go to Cuba. His name is Ray Lewis. But honestly, at that time in Cuba, we don't have internet. I don't know who is Ray Lewis. I only remember Ray Lewis called me and said, 'Hey, Alex, I want to have a limousine. I want to have the car with the crystal bulletproof.' I said, 'What the heck? Bulletproof in Cuba? We don't have food. Imagine if we have a bulletproof crystal.' In the end, super funny. I sent him the regular yellow taxi to pick up him in the airport. When he arrived to my shop, he said, 'What the fuck you send me?' I said, 'Brother, I send you wherever I couldn't find.'
Yeah.
And it was super funny. I let him know, 'Brother, you will be in love with this country, because in this country you will have the freedom to walk every corner to the downtown Havana, and anybody will know who you are.' And was exactly like that. And every time he come to my shop, he said, 'Alex, I feel in love with this country. I can walk, and anybody ask me for nothing, for picture, for nothing.' And
Freedom.
only one guy was in my shop. He is American. When he saw Ray Lewis arrive to the shop, he was like, 'Oh my goodness, this is Ray Lewis?' That guy was like 7 hours there waiting for him to say hello. And was when I said, 'Wow, that is the beauty about Cuba.' You can imagine how many people you meet in that country, because they have the freedom. They don't have paparazzi. They don't have nothing. And that is something really unique. And that's what made me feel and create that friendship with Ray Lewis. And now we are working together.
Nice. Sean here wants to know, outside of your own brand, what are some of your favorite cigars to enjoy?
It's difficult for me to mention a specific brand, because I don't know too much. But thanks to Leo, I smoke many good bangers. One of my favorite cigars so far I smoke, I really enjoy a really good sweetness, is Arturo Fuente Don Carlos Aniversario. And also I smoke cigar for Michael Herzog. It's a really good, well-balanced cigars. It's a cigar I feel so nice when I'm smoking, because it's not the same like my cigars, but I feel that kind of balance when I'm smoking his cigars. Also, I smoke from the New World cigars. It's a wonderful. It's also a 109. It's a really good friend. I know him for more than 10 years. It's a Bon Robert cigars. It's a cigar they are making now with Hamle Paredes, another blender and wonderful rollers. from Cuba, and it's a spectacular cigar. It's a cigar. It's really well-made cigars. But yeah, the New World cigar, they have a spectacular cigars. Padron is amazing. Many good brands. But again, depend what you love, because maybe you can smoke. I don't know too much about brands. I smoke something from Arturo Fuente, was an Opus X, and I don't like it. I feel so salty. But I smoke another 2 or 3 from our Opus, and I feel in love. That
Yeah.
sweetness, that racing, and also when I smoke cigars, I smoke a cigar and I feel if I like it or if I don't like it. Sometimes I see people like you guys, I see these people have a taste and palate from another world, because sometimes I hear you say you feel like a strawberry jam or this kind of flavors. Oh my goodness, I don't feel the flavor. I think I'm killing my taste because I don't feel half of the flavor. They feel like a chocolate with this, with that. And for me, it's difficult to understand because I don't feel those flavors, you know? And in the end, I smoke the cigar. If I like it, I like it. If no, I don't like it.
What about for Cubans? You know, some from back home. What are some of the cigars that you know fell in love with?
My favorite cigar from Cuba is Trinidad. I love Trinidad. I know many people, they love Cohiba, but for me, Cohiba is the big reputation cigars. But my favorite is Trinidad and Ramon Allones. I love the Ramon Allones cigars. And if I have to choose a cigar, always have a perfect consistency and top quality, and it's not too expensive, is the White Churchill. I love the White Churchill also.
Heck yeah.
That's a crowd favorite.
Mm.
People love jars. I see a lot of people saying, you know, it's a nice touch. Yes, on the jars. I know people don't use them too often anymore because of the breakage, but it's such a classy look when a cigar.
That is
comes in
the
a jar.
problem with the jars. You have to take care of packaging, protection, and everything because destroy a lot. That happened to us in Cuba because in Cuba we used to sell a lot of cigars with porcelain jar, like Torreon, like Glorioso, like different brands we make with ceramic, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get small batch to help you with packaging on that.
They have
Yeah.
enough bubble wrap and saran wrap.
They are wonderful packaging these cigars, man.
Yeah. Let's touch on the MJ. I don't think we've touched on that yet. That seems to be the cigar that everyone kind of always stands out when they talk about you. How did that all come to happen?
That is a long history. I have a friend. His name is Arturo Mendoza. When I was making MJ23 double lancero cigars, the first person I was rolling those cigars don't work for Michael Jordan. One second.
Mm-hmm.
The first person I was rolling those cigars was the Royal Prince from Saudi Arabia. The name is Turki Al Saud. At that time, I was making for him 2 sizes and was crazy sizes. Was the double lancero is a 38 ring gauge by almost 11 inches and 56 ring gauge by 10 inches.
Dang.
Crazy. That friends, Arturo Mendoza, he used to go to Cuba a lot because he's the person who buys cigar for Michael Jordan. He choose different shops to pick up his boxes. And one of the shops he visited frequently was the Comodoro, the place where I was working. One day I was rolling those cigars from the Saudi guy. And Arturo asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Brother, I'm doing something crazy for a friend. And I give him 5 cigars as a gift." And I said, "Give him those to Jordan and send him as a gift to say thanks, to choose our shop to buy his boxes." The next month, he ordered me like 8 bundles. I made those bundles for him. The next month, he ordered me like 15 bundles. And what's funny because Arturo said to me, "Alex, you are fucking my business." Now he don't want to buy boxes. He want to buy bundles. And was for me the best experience I have was when I see him smoking my cigars in that Netflix show, the Last Dance, in the first episode and in the last episode, looking that guy for me was like a iconic person in the world, person who have money and can choose any other cigars and choose my cigar to be part of that documentary was something unbelievable and was something who opened a lot of doors for me because as soon as everybody started to talk the MJ23 was giving a lot of popularity in the Cuban cigar business because of those cigars. Unfortunately, it's something I can't roll now because I don't have a Cuban tobacco, but soon I think I will make something limited because I see other companies who already make something similar. I said, why I can't do it the same? Maybe I can do something, a small coffin with 2 or 3 MJ and bring it to the US market. Don't will be the same, but I will try to make it as close as possible.
That's going to be awesome. We look forward to trying that. Did you get a lot of requests like that from overseas princes and stuff? Were you making a lot of customs for a lot of different clientele like that?
In Cuba, yes. In Cuba, yes, because I have a big relationship with the embassies, and since I was working to the LCDH, that is the best can happen to me as a professional business and as a professional life. Why? When you are working in the cigar factory pit, you make cigars, but in the end, the people don't know who are rolling those cigars. Maybe you buy a box, but you don't know who are rolling those cigars you smoke from the box. But when you are working the LCDH, you have the opportunity to meet people personally, and they know if your cigar are good. And if it's terrible, they already know who are the person who made those terrible cigars. And after many years working in the LCDH, I have the opportunity to roll a lot of cigars for royal family, Al Sabat from Kuwait, Altani from Qatar, Al Saud in Saudi Arabia, different country. I have the opportunity to roll cigars and meet personally the Sultan Johor from Malaysia.
Yeah.
And artists, the Jonas Brothers, and different other celebrities.
That's got to be cool when people like seek you out to make their cigars. That's got to feel good.
Unless it's me and I'm joking about a fake blend I created and sent to him. I don't know if you remember that, AG, but I sent you some just bullshit blend as a joke. Like, can you do this? And you were like, is that what you really like? I was like, oh God. I'm going to have to rebuild my credibility with Alex.
A Garrison.
Pennsylvanian Puro.
Yeah. I was like, all Cameroon fillers. He was like, okay, like, is that really what you like? I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure.
Back to the short bus.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people come to you and they're like, hey, can you make me this? And you're just like scratching your head sometimes. Like, I don't know if that's going to be good or not, but the customer's a customer, right? You gotta make them happy.
It was funny. Almost like 2 weeks ago, I received a message from a friend. We was talking for almost 1 hour. And he was asking me to make something for him. Alex, I want you make me T52. And I said, what the heck is T52? I don't know what is T52. And I was looking in Google. In the end, I look and was a tatuaje. They have something they call T52. And I said, brother, for me, it's difficult. I don't know how to copy all those. And in the end, if you want to smoke something strong, go and buy a box of tatuaje. That's it. It's easier.
Yeah. It's already there. You can just get it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Edgar wants to know, how can he get a Jonas Brothers cigar?
Do they actually smoke cigars, the Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, I think the first time they smoked a cigar was in 2017. It was something funny also. I was in my place and I received a phone call from a person. No, it was 2016, I think. Well, it was in the period where Obama was in Cuba. And someone called me and said, hey, Alex, You have to be in this place and this time. You have to make some cigar, and you have to explain everything to those people, how to make a cigar and everything. I was asking, I said, who is it? No, no, it's a secret. I can't talk about that. I can let you know who is the person you will meet. In my mind, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I will meet Obama because was the only person was around, and that secret is. I was thinking, whoa, the only secret is which is the person is here, and they can talk about that. I was thinking was Obama. I was waiting too exciting to meet the president of US. When they arrived, was all the brothers from Jonas Brothers. Was so funny. And I think was the first time they smoke a cigar, because the way they light the cigar and they start to smoke, you can see it's a person, it's a beginner when they are smoking. But it was a really funny people, really nice guys, humble, really good team.
I
Like,
can
who
only
the hell are
imagine.
these kids?
Yeah,
Like,
all
what the
day you're
hell?
like, I'm gonna meet the president. I'm gonna meet the
Yeah.
president. The Jonas Brothers show up.
And
Did
then
you
have
even
this
really
huge-
know the
Oh,
Jonas
impressive.
Brothers at that point in time?
Yeah, I
Fuck
know
no.
because
Oh.
my sister used to look a lot of video of the Jonas Brother and all those movie. The at that time was the High School Musical and was the Jonas Brother and was everything. I said, oh my goodness, my sister she almost have the heart attack when she asked me to, please, can you ask him for autograph? I said, okay.
That's a cool story. So what's next for AG? We're about at time. What do we got coming up for the year? Are you got big plans for next year? What can we look forward to with the brand?
For this year, my goal is finally finish to move to the new factory and continue doing the job we are doing, trying to work organic and grow organic with the people. And for the next year, try to bring the legendary Moment cigar to the market with Alejandro Robaina and bring AG for the first time to PCA. Many people asked me last year why I don't participate in PCA, but I let you know I consider it's not the right moment. You know, sometimes you need to know which is the right moment to do something. And to go there and bring 6 cigars and talk about AG, for me, I feel don't was enough. That is why I consider now with a bigger portfolio, bringing the Robaina and the legendary moment will take more attention to the people, because in the end, the best for the cigar industry also, is marketing. And when you bring that cigar to the market, will bring a lot of attention from magazines, from YouTubers, from people who want to know everything about those new lines.
Yeah. And I think you're doing a great job, because you watching you in the Discord and connecting with just our group, like 250 guys, you're very accessible. Guys are always messaging you. They're giving you feedback. You're talking to them. So, your organic growth is happening pretty rapidly, because I think everyone sees how genuine you are with your cigars and how you're going about growing your business. It's been a real pleasure for us to get to know you. And we're really thankful that you're part of the community, because the guys love having you, so easily accessible in the group, just because, at the end of the day, you're a blender, you have your brand, all that prestige, but you're just a cigar smoker like the rest of us. You're just a nerd like the rest of us. And it's really a pleasure to see that side of you.
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
see
so-
any other manufacturer or brand like taking the time to just, like, you're smoking a cigar, you're like, let's see what the boys are doing on the cud. And any given night, boop, Alex is popping up,
That is something I really enjoy, because cigars is like a brotherhood. I'm a Freemason, and I feel the cigar community also as a brotherhood. It's like we learn from each other. As soon as you, as a blender or as a manufacturer, you believe you know everything and you don't need the opinion from the consumer, you are done. Because sometimes the ego kill you. When you feel you know everything, you have enough reputation or you have enough name in the cigar industry, and you believe your ego will make everything for you, you are done. You need to know what the people believe. Can be good, can be bad. I'm open to any feedback. That's it. And I enjoy a lot. Go to the Discord, talk with the guys, and that is something for me unbelievable.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Do you guys have any other comments or questions before we wrap it up here on the panel?
No, I think that I think this was awesome, man. And Alex, your story is fantastic. I remember seeing the article, you know, after we had spoken that Half Wheel did on you in 2018, and just how legit, you know, of a roller you were, and working in Cuba, and then to go off on your own and create this brand for all of us to enjoy, man, and to share it with all of us. I think that we're very fortunate and privileged to have you around, man. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, brother.
All right, guys. Well, hey, check out Alex Glez. All of the shops that don't carry it, you should go in there and be like, hey, have you heard of Alex Glez? Cigars are really good. You should check them out. Spread the word. I think it's growing pretty quickly around here. The guys love it, and you know, everyone seems to be enjoying supporting the brand. So that's awesome to see too. But we want to thank you for taking your time with us tonight, Alex, and every night that you hang out with us. We appreciate it.
Honestly, for me, it's an honor to be here with you guys. And also, I want to say sorry again because I know how bad experience maybe at the beginning with the audio and everything. And I want the people. I want everybody have the best experience in the unbanded cigars. But unfortunately, I'm not a tech guy, and maybe I don't know what happened with my phone. And I want to say sorry to everybody for the bad experience at the beginning.
No, we
made it work, man.
We made it
Got it
work.
done, man.
And what's funny,
It was fun.
I
to see
bring
Pete
all
sweat.
this because of Pete. I know Pete wanted good audio, everything perfect, but unfortunately, the audio for me was crazy.
Sounds great. It sounds great right now. So whatever you're doing now, we'll do it next time too. We'll keep everything the same.
Thank you again, guys, for the invitation. I really appreciate it a lot.
No, we appreciate it, man. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging with us on this Tuesday. We'll see you for cigar number 1 this Thursday. So make sure you get those in the dry box. But guys on the panel, it's been a pleasure. Alex, thank you again. We'll see you in the Discord, and we appreciate your time, guys. We'll
Thank
see
you,
next
guys.
time.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alex.